different things were happening in the community, in our culture, that we really had a need for dogs to serve at a different level and a different purpose. And that required that the dogs would actually be trained at a different level to be able to handle the stresses of emotional support dogs, as opposed to therapy dogs, respond out during time that's traumatic for them to be able to support the community.
The way that I came up with Tri-State with Janice was Rusty is a really special dog. Rusty's one of those dogs that basically came home and he was perfect. And I realized by taking him out, taking him to places, to nursing homes, to doing hospice work, as simple as it was just to pet him, it made somebody's week. You know, a lot of these people don't have much to look forward to sometimes, unfortunately. And the pet of a dog, and it's something as simple as that, you know, really, it can change somebody.
My co-founder, Andrea Herring, and I, we talked about starting Tri-State, and I think it was one night we were sitting at our table, we had a little beverage napkin, and we started writing down what we would do, what would it look like. And I think we set our goal of having like 10 teams, 5 of them being therapy dogs and 5 being crisis response.
So from my experience in dog training and Janice's experience with the mental health background, we came together and we put together this organization so we can provide the highest level care to people that have experienced tragic situations.
Fast forwarding 2 years till today, we have 42 teams. This year alone, we've done over 9,000 visits. We'll probably reach 10,000 face-to-face, unduplicated visitations in the community. So the need is huge.
Breaking news.
Now at 11, the deadliest mass shooting in modern U.S. history.
Vegas, Steve, if you'll hold on for one moment, please. Again, we have a possible active shooter situation in Las Vegas. We are going to be joined now.
You have 22,000 people attending this event, but I will tell you that they were running everywhere they could to try to escape the carnage that was going on around them. And it was a true terrorist activity that was going on, and they were running back to the Mandalay. The dogs played a profound role, as I tried to profess to so many people. They're that first step, if you will, in providing that therapeutic need, if you will, as they go forward. And sometimes we can't do that. Most of the time we can't do that, but the dogs will.
You know, we go to a crisis screening center in Willingboro once a month, and we see residents that were, or patients that were either checked in voluntarily, involuntarily to the crisis screening center. You know, you don't know what happened to them the day before, whether, you know, they tried committing suicide or what difficulty they're having in their life. And when we go there, our dogs bring a sense of calm and just peace, and they're able to live in the moment and be there with the dogs. There's been times where patients haven't come out of their rooms since they've been checked in, and that could be a couple months, but they hear those dogs are coming in the building and they're coming out of their rooms.
You don't feel as lonely, I guess. These are good dogs, like, for when you're feeling down and out. I think that it'll be it's a very good therapy for people that probably sit here when they're alone. Should do that more often, bring them to patients. Even if you don't interact with the dog, I think it's good just to have them come, because it'll just lighten somebody's spirit up automatically.
You know, these dogs, when they come to the unit and they encounter the patients, there's an immediate mental health benefit.
We try to lighten the atmosphere a little bit, and when the dogs come in here, the energy just changes in the room. And I think that's, you know, you can focus on your recovery and everything that's happened to you, and something like this just kind of it just lightens it up a little bit, just kind of takes some of the heaviness out of the day.
It distracts them from thinking about the things that they're worried about and about their health. Some patients just relax, they're just nervous and anxious with the whole therapy process. So when they sit there and they interact with the dog and pet the dog, they just relax. And some patients, even with pain, it makes them forget about their pain. They might even sit and relate with the dog and then not think about the pain that they're having.
I've been particularly pleased with the professionalism of Tri-State Canine Response, and the level of professionalism that Tri-State provides really is quite first rate.
No. So Janice and I talked about having Tri-State be part of our crisis intervention team, because after Newtown, all schools started thinking about what would we do if we had a crisis here.
They've been an invaluable resource to be able to provide emotional support to our students who are going through difficulties at home or having difficulties at school. Just being able to use them here at school has been great.
The Tri-State Canine Response Team helped me get more into reading, because come in and then they'll make you feel really happy.
The dog helps with the feeling of community here at Tatum. It makes the staff and the faculty feel like there is an outlet for children who are struggling that's a little bit different.
Last year we had a student who had some emotional difficulties and at times would get very upset during the day. So we were able to call Janice, and she would bring Cece over and she would sit with the student and he would just calm down considerably.
It's given us one more tool in our toolkit to make this a place that children feel comfortable.
We were visiting some veterans. We were walking down the hallway with my other dog, Nugget, and Nugget literally pulled me on his leash into a room, and he doesn't do that. And he went into this room. There was a lady sitting by a window. He went right up to her, started loving her, leaning up against her, licking her hands, with Nugget constantly providing love and emotional support to this lady. Upon leaving, it was very, very good for her, because her husband had just died the night before, and that she needed that kind of support just at that time. It was my dog that sensed it and went immediately over to her, understood her emotions, if you will, and then was able to provide comfort to her.
Because of her size and her incredible personality with people, she is an amazing therapy dog. She is trained to actually, all I have to do is take my hand and put it on the bed or near the person, wherever I want her to put her head or to concentrate on the patient, and she will put it right there.
They really can sense emotion. There's one story that sticks out to me in particular is we were actually at the animal hospital and Rusty was terrified. He just had 2 surgeries. He's shaking like a leaf in the waiting room. But he sees this woman come out the doors and she's visibly upset. And Rusty's nervous himself, and he knows she's upset, and she comes down, she sits next to him, and he had to go over to her. To me, it was very amazing, because Rusty himself was nervous, but he sensed that this woman was extremely upset, and he felt that he had to comfort her at that time.
I was working at a group home with a group of gentlemen. There were 20 gentlemen living in a group home. There was a person who lived there who hadn't left the residency in 12 years. And during the time we were there, I said, could everybody just wait? I have to take the dog to go outside to go to the bathroom. And he said to me, I'll take her out. I was shocked. He hadn't left in 12 years. And his name was Steve. And Steve took the other end of my leash. I held this end. He took this end. And we walked out of the group home for the first time in 12 years.
You know, just by petting him, it did put a smile on her face. Whether it didn't change the situation of what just happened, but it was enough to give her a second to just a break from reality.
All of us want to make a difference and want to help. And we would not be able to see over 10,000 people our second year if we didn't have the commitment from everyone as a group and as a whole.
It's so hard because this isn't fair. Rusty gives back to so many people, and now that he's 9 years old and he just tore his cruciate, you know, it's really hard that I can't help him the way he helps others. And this whole thing has been really hard for me because he is such a special dog, and everything he's been going through, he's just kept a smile on his face this whole time. You know, he was hit by a car, he was left on the side of the road, and, you know, he's a fighter. And so right now, you know, it's been really hard for me. And I just feel bad and I want to be able to help him. But he doesn't even notice, you know. He's been hobbling around, but he's very, you know, dogs are very selfless, and he puts his needs to the side all the time, and he's willing to help somebody in need whenever, you know, whenever they need it, even when it's me.
She might cure me.